Picture this, a vast frozen landscape untouched by humans. The silence of the snow-covered mountains is broken only by the wind whistling through the valleys. But wait, what's that rumbling sound echoing through the frozen plains? Why, it's a giant RC car. Its bright colors a stark contrast to the white expanse around it. This isn't just any ordinary toy car, no sir. This is a behemoth on wheels built for adventure and ready to tackle any terrain. But even the toughest of RC cars can run into trouble, especially in this unforgiving environment. A patch of ice, a hidden crevice, or a treacherous slope can bring our off-road hero to a grinding halt. Who will come to the rescue when these mechanical titans need a helping hand? Fear not, for in this world of miniature marvels, a team of tiny heroes is always ready to answer the call. Get ready to enter a world where the impossible becomes possible, where size is no barrier to courage, and where a team of miniature mechanics works tirelessly to keep the spirit of adventure alive. This is their story, a tale of ingenuity, teamwork, and the unwavering belief that no job is too big when you have the right tools and an even bigger heart. Imagine a world where toys aren't just playthings, but living, breathing entities with their own hopes and dreams. In this hidden world, a secret society of miniature mechanics thrives. These aren't your average toy soldiers or plastic figurines. They're skilled engineers, adept at wielding tiny tools. They live for the thrill of the challenge and the camaraderie of teamwork. Each mechanic has unique skills and personalities. Their world is a vibrant mix of the familiar and the fantastical. Their mission? To rescue stranded RC cars and keep the spirit of adventure alive. When a distress call crackles through their radios, these miniature heroes spring into action. A giant RC car is in trouble, stranded in the wilderness. The miniature mechanics gather their tools, ready for the challenge. With courage and ingenuity, they set off on their rescue mission. United by their passion, they face each challenge with a smile. Join the miniature mechanics on an epic journey of daring rescues and friendship. In a world where even the smallest screw can make a big difference, a team of miniature mechanics embarks on epic adventures. Meet Sparky, the energetic leader and electrical genius. He can jumpstart a car battery with a touch of his tiny screwdriver. Next is Wrench, the strong, silent master of mechanics. And Patches, the resourceful inventor with a knack for improvisation. Together, they form an unstoppable team, guardians of playtime. Gearing up. The Miniature Mechanics Arsenal of Awesome. The Miniature Mechanics Workshop is a testament to their ingenuity, a place where everyday objects are transformed into extraordinary tools for their extraordinary tasks. Tiny wrenches, no bigger than a ladybug, gleam under the warm glow of miniature work lights. Screwdrivers, crafted from discarded watch parts, are lined up with meticulous precision, ready for their next intricate repair. But their ingenuity doesn't stop at traditional tools. A discarded soda can, carefully cut and shaped, becomes a makeshift welding torch, its miniature flame flickering with the promise of molten metal and sturdy repairs. A lost earring, its sparkling jewel repurposed, transforms into a powerful magnifying glass, allowing the mechanics to examine even the tiniest of engine parts with precision and care. Their most prized possession, however, is a collection of miniature drones, each one custom-built for specific tasks. These aren't your average toys. These drones are equipped with miniature grappling hooks, winches, and even tiny welding lasers, ready to assist the mechanics in even the most challenging of rescues. The Miniature Mechanics Workshop is a testament to their resourcefulness, where imagination knows no bounds and even the smallest of objects can become powerful tools in the right hands. It's a place where the impossible becomes possible, one tiny invention at a time. Size doesn't matter. When passion fuels ingenuity. In the world of miniature mechanics, size is no barrier to skill or determination. What they lack in stature, they more than make up for in ingenuity, resourcefulness, and a passion for all things mechanical. Their tiny hands, nimble and precise, move with the confidence of seasoned surgeons as they navigate the intricate workings of their giant RC patients. They approach each repair with a mix of careful planning and improvisational brilliance. Blueprints, sketched on scraps of paper no bigger than postage stamps, are meticulously studied, their tiny details revealing the secrets of each RC car's inner workings. But sometimes, the best plans go awry, and that's when the miniature mechanics' true ingenuity shines through. They adapt, they overcome, they find creative solutions to unforeseen challenges, always with a shared sense of humor and a can-do spirit. Whether it's using a toothpick as a makeshift axle or a button as a replacement gear, these miniature marvels prove time and time again that with a little imagination, anything is possible. The zoom out. A whole new perspective on playtime. Imagine a child's bedroom, toys scattered across the floor, a blanket fort standing tall in the corner. Now picture yourself shrinking down smaller and smaller until you're the size of a toy car. The familiar becomes colossal. The mundane transforms into the extraordinary. This is the world of the miniature mechanics, a world where playthings take on epic proportions. A stack of building blocks becomes a towering skyscraper, its colorful plastic bricks forming an intricate facade. A forgotten toy train set transforms into a network of winding tracks, stretching across the room like a miniature railway system. And that blanket fort? It's now a fortress of epic proportions, its soft walls hiding secret passageways and hidden treasures. This is the world as the miniature mechanics see it, a world where imagination reigns supreme and adventure awaits around every corner. It's a world where even the smallest of creatures can make a big difference, a world where playtime is serious business, and the spirit of adventure never grows old. Section 5. The challenge awaits. A distress call echoes through the workshop. A high-pitched beep cuts through the hum of tiny machinery, echoing through the miniature mechanic's bustling workshop. A red light flashes urgently on a miniature radio, its antenna twitching like a nervous cat's whisker. A distress call. Sparky, ever the vigilant leader, is the first to react, his tiny hand reaching for the receiver with practiced speed. Mayday! Mayday! This is RC Jeep 17 calling for immediate assistance. A voice, frantic and filled with static, crackles through the speaker. We've encountered a situation. We're stuck, I repeat. We're stuck. Over. A wave of concern washes over the miniature mechanics' faces. Their eyes meet, a silent conversation passing between them. They know that in their world, a distress call is more than just a game. It's a call to action, a plea for help that they can't ignore. Wrench, prep the heavy lifting drone. Patches, grab the emergency toolkit. This sounds serious. Sparky barks out orders, his usual playful demeanor replaced by a focused intensity. The miniature mechanics spring into action, their movements a well-rehearsed ballet of efficiency and skill. Wrench, his brow furrowed in concentration, powers up the heavy lifting drone, its miniature rotors whirring to life like angry bees. Patches, ever resourceful, rummages through his mountains of spare parts, emerging triumphant with a miniature toolbox overflowing with gadgets and gizmos. Sparky, his tiny brow creased in thought, studies a holographic map projected above the workbench. According to the signal, RC Jeep 17 is stranded somewhere near the Great Toy Avalanche. It's a treacherous area, even for the most experienced off-roader. With a determined glint in their eyes and their miniature tools at the ready, the miniature mechanics set off on their rescue mission. Their tiny figures, dwarfed by the sheer scale of the task ahead, are a testament to the boundless courage and unwavering spirit that reside in even the smallest of heroes. The miniature mechanics embarked on their rescue mission, their tiny forms dwarfed by the landscape before them. What was once a child's playful mess was now a treacherous mountain range in their eyes. The Great Toy Avalanche, as they called it, was a chaotic jumble of discarded toys, plush animals, and forgotten board games, all piled precariously high. Sparky, ever the strategist, consulted his holographic map, its glow reflecting in his determined eyes. The signal is strongest near the peak of that stuffed bear, he announced, pointing a tiny finger towards a plush Everest looming above them. Wrench, you pilot the drone. Patches and I will secure a line once we're in position. Their journey was fraught with challenges. They scaled precariously balanced blocks, navigated treacherous ravines formed by forgotten board games, and even braved a perilous crossing over a bridge constructed from a flimsy playing card. Every step was a testament to their courage and their unwavering commitment to reaching RC Jeep 17. As they climbed higher, the air grew colder, and the wind howled like a hungry wolf, threatening to rip the tools from their tiny grasp. But the miniature mechanics pressed on, their determination fueled by the knowledge that somewhere within this chaotic landscape, a fellow adventurer awaited their help. Section 2, First Look. Assessing the situation, RC Jeep 17 in peril. Reaching the summit of the plush mountain, the miniature mechanics were greeted by a sight that made their miniature hearts sink. Below them, precariously perched on a ledge carved by time and playful neglect, sat RC Jeep 17. Its once bright paint was scratched and dull, its sturdy frame tilted at an alarming angle, and one of its wheels hung precariously over the edge. "Oh dear," Patches whispered, his usual cheerfulness replaced by a frown of concern. "That doesn't look good." He adjusted his miniature goggles, his sharp eyes scanning the scene for any signs of immediate danger. "We need to stabilize it fast," Sparky declared, his voice tight with urgency. "Wrench, get that drone in position. We need to secure the vehicle before it takes another tumble." Wrench, ever reliable, maneuvered the heavy-lifting drone with precision, its miniature engine whirring softly as it approached the stranded RC Jeep. The drone, equipped with a network of tiny cables and winches, was their best hope of securing the vehicle before it was too late. Section 3. Operation Stabilization. Securing the RC Jeep against the elements. The wind whipped around them, a constant threat to their delicate operation. Sparky, clinging to Wrench's shoulder for balance, directed the drone with hand signals, his brow furrowed in concentration as he guided the tiny cables towards the RC Jeep's undercarriage. Patches, ever nimble, rappelled down a length of dental floss towards the vehicle, his miniature tool belt clinking softly with each bounce. His mission was to assess the damage and provide a vital anchor point for the drone's cable system. "Easy does it, Wrench," Sparky cautioned, his voice barely audible above the wind's roar. "Those cables are rated for a ton, but I'd rather not put them to the test today." With a series of precise maneuvers, Wrench guided the drone, its tiny winches groaning in protest as they took the strain of the RC Jeep's weight. Patches, securely anchored to the vehicle's frame, worked quickly, his tiny hands a blur of motion as he connected the cables to strategic points, creating a web of support that held the vehicle firm against the wind's relentless assault. Section 4. A wrench in the plan, when miniature mechanics face unexpected obstacles. Just as the miniature mechanics breathed a collective sigh of relief, believing the worst to be over, disaster struck. A rogue gust of wind, stronger than any they'd encountered before, slammed into the great toy avalanche, sending a cascade of building blocks tumbling towards them. "Look out!" Sparky shouted, his warning lost in the roar of the toy-fueled avalanche. He ducked instinctively, pulling Wrench down with him as a particularly large block, emblazoned with the letter A, thundered past, missing them by a hair's breadth. The heavy-lifting drone, caught in the sudden squall, was tossed about like a leaf in a hurricane. One of its miniature rotors sputtered and died, sending the drone spiraling precariously towards the ground. "Wrench, regain control!" Sparky yelled, his voice edged with panic. If the drone failed, their entire operation and potentially RC Jeep 17 would be lost. The miniature mechanics watched in horror as the heavy-lifting drone, their lifeline to RC Jeep 17, plummeted towards the unforgiving landscape of discarded toys below. Sparky, his heart pounding in his tiny chest, scrambled for a solution. Giving in to despair was not an option, not when a fellow adventurer's fate hung in the balance. "Patches!" Sparky yelled, his voice barely audible above the wind's roar. "Quick, the emergency parachute! It's in the drone's undercarriage, compartment 3! Their hopes rested on a tiny silk parachute designed for just such emergencies. Patches, never one to hesitate in a crisis, launched himself towards the falling drone. He slid down a frayed ribbon, using it like a fireman's pole, his tiny body a blur of motion against the chaotic backdrop of the great toy avalanche. Time seemed to slow down as Patches, with the agility of a miniature acrobat, swung himself towards the plummeting drone. His tiny fingers, working with the speed and precision of a seasoned watchmaker, pried open the emergency hatch, his eyes squinting against the wind. The wind buffeted Patches, threatening to rip him from his precarious perch on the drone's undercarriage. He clung on with the tenacity of a burr on a woolen sock, his tiny muscles straining as he fought to maintain his grip. Below him, the ground rushed closer, a dizzying expanse of forgotten toys and shattered dreams. Ignoring the dizzying height and the biting wind, Patches reached into the compartment, his tiny fingers searching for the telltale silken feel of the parachute. His heart pounded in his chest, a tiny drumbeat against the symphony of chaos unfolding around him. Come on," he muttered under his breath, his voice a mere whisper against the wind's roar. His fingers brushed against something soft and yielding. The parachute! With a surge of adrenaline, he pulled it free, his tiny face a mask of fierce determination. Now came the tricky part. He had to activate the parachute's deployment mechanism, a tiny lever nestled deep within the drone's undercarriage. One wrong move, one slip of his tiny fingers, and their hopes would be dashed against the unforgiving landscape below. Back on the relatively stable summit of the stuffed bear, Sparky and Wrench watched Patches' daring maneuver with a mixture of anxiety and awe. Their miniature friend was a whirlwind of bravery and ingenuity, a testament to the fact that even the smallest of heroes could achieve extraordinary things. "He's got it!" Wrench exclaimed, his usually stoic face breaking into a relieved grin as the miniature parachute blossomed above the falling drone, its bright red silk a beacon of hope against the swirling snow. The drone, caught by the parachute's billowing canopy, drifted gently down towards the ground, its descent slow and controlled. A collective cheer erupted from the miniature mechanics, their tiny voices a symphony of relief and triumph. But their celebration was short-lived. "The rotor's busted," Sparky announced, examining the damaged drone with a critical eye. "We need to find a replacement, and fast." His brow furrowed as he mentally inventoried their limited supplies. They were in a race against time, and their toolkit was running dangerously low. "Don't worry, Sparky," Patches said, his voice brimming with confidence. "I've got this." He rummaged through his seemingly bottomless tool belt, emerging triumphant with a roll of duct tape, a length of wire, and a mischievous glint in his eye. "A little improvisation is all we need." Section 4. Rocky road ahead. New terrain, new challenges for the miniature mechanics. With the heavy-lifting drone safely back in their possession, albeit slightly bruised and sporting a rather fetching duct tape bandage, the miniature mechanics turned their attention back to the task at hand, rescuing RC Jeep 17. "The good news is, the drone's operational," Sparky announced, consulting the drone's diagnostic display, a tiny screen that blinked with reassuring green light. "The bad news is, we got another problem." He pointed to a section of the holographic map, his miniature finger tracing a treacherous path through a jumble of shapes and colors. "The signals led us to the edge of the Great Toy Avalanche, but it looks like RC Jeep 17 took a tumble into the Rocky Road roller coaster." The Rocky Road roller coaster, as its name implied, was a fearsome obstacle course of discarded toy cars, plastic tracks, and loop-the-loops, all haphazardly strewn about like a child's forgotten imagination. It was a place where gravity reigned supreme, and even the sturdiest of RC vehicles could easily meet their demise. Section 5. Thinking outside the toolbox. Innovative solutions for a rocky predicament. The miniature mechanics stood at the edge of the Rocky Road roller coaster, their tiny figures dwarfed by the chaotic landscape before them. The ground beneath their feet was littered with the casualties of countless playtime battles. Dented toy cars, missing wheels, and plastic chassis cracked beyond repair. "This is going to be tricky," Wrench muttered, his usually stoic demeanor betraying a hint of concern. The Rocky Road roller coaster was a navigational nightmare, a maze of twists, turns, and sudden drops designed to test the limits of even the most adventurous RC vehicles. "We need to find a way to stabilize the Jeep," Sparky said, his brow furrowed in thought. "But we can't risk the drone in this terrain. It's too unstable. One wrong move, one misplaced step, and the drone could easily become another casualty of the Rocky Road roller coaster." "I have an idea," Patches announced, a mischievous glint in his eye. He rummaged through his tool belt, emerging triumphant with a collection of seemingly unrelated items, a spring from a broken toy, a handful of rubber bands, and of course his trusty roll of duct tape. "Trust me," he said with a wink. "Sometimes the best solutions are found outside the toolbox." He set to work, his tiny hands moving with the speed and precision of a master craftsman, transforming the seemingly random objects into a testament to his ingenuity. Section 6. A job well done, almost momentary triumph, and a looming threat. After what felt like an eternity of carefully planned maneuvers, synchronized winching, and a few choice words muttered under their breath, the miniature mechanics had done it. RC Jeep 17, battered but not broken, sat safely on solid ground, its ordeal a distant memory. "High five!" Patches exclaimed, his voice filled with relief and exhilaration. He exchanged a round of celebratory high fives with Sparky and Wrench, their tiny hands slapping together in a symphony of miniature triumph. "We did it, team," Sparky said, a proud smile spreading across his face. "Another successful rescue mission in the books." He patted the RC Jeep's dented fender affectionately, a silent thank you to the vehicle for its resilience. But even as they basked in the glow of their victory, a shadow fell over the miniature mechanics. The wind, which had died down momentarily, picked up again, this time with a vengeance. It howled through the great toy avalanche, carrying with it a new threat, more ominous than any they had faced before. A storm was coming. The first flakes of snow like tiny feathers began to fall, swirling around the miniature mechanics and the rescued RC Jeep 17. The wind, no longer a playful breeze but a howling beast, sent shivers down their tiny spines. The storm, foreshadowed by the darkening sky and the palpable chill in the air, was upon them. "We need shelter fast!" Sparky yelled, his voice barely audible above the wind's roar. He knew that in their miniature world, a storm, even a small one, could be a matter of life or death. "There!" Wrench shouted, pointing a sturdy finger towards a nearby toy chest, its wooden sides weathered but still strong. It wasn't much, but it was their best hope of surviving the storm's fury. They gathered their tools, their movements urgent but precise, and began the arduous task of pushing, pulling, and coaxing the RC Jeep 17 towards the relative safety of the toy chest. The wind buffeted them, the snow stung their faces, but they pressed on, their determination fueled by the knowledge that every second counted. Huddled inside the toy chest, the storm raging outside their makeshift shelter, the miniature mechanics huddled around a flickering LED light, its soft glow illuminating their faces. The air was thick with the scent of sawdust and the lingering aroma of a forgotten juice box, a comforting reminder of their miniature world. "We can't keep doing this," Sparky said, his voice tight with concern. "We need a permanent solution, a place where we can work on these RC vehicles safely, regardless of the weather." He unfurled a miniature blueprint, its surface covered in a dizzying array of lines, symbols, and annotations, only decipherable to their mechanically minded eyes. "I've been working on an idea," he continued, pointing to a particular section of the blueprint. "A miniature garage, specifically designed for RC vehicle repair." Wrench, ever the pragmatist, nodded slowly. "It's a good idea," he said, his voice deep and thoughtful. "We could use salvaged materials, make it sturdy, weatherproof. It would be a haven for stranded RC adventurers." And so began the construction of the miniature garage, a testament to the miniature mechanics' ingenuity, teamwork, and unwavering belief that no job was too big, no challenge too daunting. They worked tirelessly, their tiny hands a blur of motion as they measured, cut, and assembled a symphony of salvaged materials. Discarded building blocks, once symbols of childhood whimsy, were transformed into sturdy walls. A forgotten umbrella, its colorful fabric faded but still waterproof, became the garage's roof. And a collection of bottle caps, gleaming under the LED light, were repurposed as miniature floodlights, illuminating their construction zone with a welcoming glow. They faced setbacks, of course. There were moments when the wind threatened to rip their half-finished structure from its foundations, times when a misplaced hammer sent tiny sparks flying, and instances when a shortage of duct tape threatened to bring their progress to a grinding halt. But through it all, they persevered. Their spirits never dampened, their resolve never shaken. They knew that they weren't just building a garage, they were building a symbol of hope, a beacon of ingenuity in a world where even the smallest of creatures could make a big difference. Oops! Miniature mishaps and the humor of tiny troubles. No construction project is without its share of mishaps, and the miniature garage was no exception. There were times when a misplaced step sent a miniature mechanic tumbling into a pile of sawdust, their tiny cries of surprise quickly turning into fits of laughter. There were moments when a carefully balanced stack of building blocks, defying gravity with their precarious arrangement, would topple over with a resounding crash, sending the miniature mechanics scattering for cover. And who could forget the time when Patches, in his eagerness to secure a particularly tricky section of the roof, accidentally stapled his own overalls to the structure, his muffled cries for help met with a mixture of concern and amusement from his fellow mechanics. But even in the face of adversity, even when covered in sawdust, bruised by falling blocks, or temporarily stapled to the ceiling, the miniature mechanics never lost their sense of humor. They knew that laughter, like duct tape, could fix almost anything, at least temporarily. And then, as if by magic, it was finished. The miniature garage, a testament to the miniature mechanics' ingenuity and perseverance, stood proudly amidst the landscape of discarded toys, a beacon of hope for stranded RC adventurers. A red ribbon, salvaged from a forgotten gift box, fluttered in the breeze as Sparky, Wrench, and Patches stood proudly before their creation. "I hereby declare," Sparky announced, his voice filled with pride, "the miniature garage officially open for business." A cheer erupted from the assembled crowd, a motley crew of RC vehicles, each bearing the scars of countless adventures. There was Monster Truck Max, his massive tires caked in mud, and Rally Car Rita, her sleek frame sporting a few battle scars. The miniature garage, bathed in the warm glow of the bottle cap floodlights, welcomed them all. It was a place of refuge, a haven for weary adventurers, and a testament to the power of teamwork, ingenuity, and the belief that even in a world of discarded toys, adventure never ends. Section 6. No Job Too Big. The Miniature Mechanics Legacy of Playful Heroism. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the landscape of discarded toys, the miniature mechanics stood shoulder to shoulder, their faces illuminated by the warm glow emanating from their newly christened garage. They had faced their share of challenges that day, battled the elements, overcome technical difficulties, and even endured a few comical mishaps. But through it all, they had emerged victorious, their spirits unbroken, their bonds of friendship strengthened by their shared experiences. The miniature garage, standing as a beacon of hope in their miniature world, was a testament to their unwavering belief that no job was too big, no challenge too daunting, as long as they had each other and their trusty tools. The storm had passed, leaving behind a world washed clean and sparkling under a sky dusted with stars. And as the miniature mechanics turned their attention to the next adventure, they knew, with the unwavering certainty of true heroes, that they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. After all, in their world, every day was a chance to make a difference, one tiny repair at a time. Section 1. Tiny Heroes, Big Inspiration, the enduring appeal of miniature adventures. As the miniature mechanics surveyed their handiwork, the newly christened garage standing as a beacon of ingenuity amidst the landscape of forgotten toys, a sense of quiet satisfaction settled over them. They had faced their challenges head-on, their miniature hearts filled with a courage that belied their diminutive stature. Their story, a testament to the power of teamwork, resourcefulness, and a never-give-up attitude, resonates far beyond the confines of the toy chest. It reminds us that even in a world that often feels overwhelming, even when faced with obstacles that seem insurmountable, there is always hope, always a way to make a difference, no matter how small we may feel. The miniature mechanics, with their unwavering spirit and their knack for finding creative solutions, embody the very essence of playful heroism. They remind us that adventure can be found in the most unexpected places, that ingenuity knows no bounds, and that even a little bit of duct tape can go a long way. Their story is a celebration of the power of imagination, a reminder that the world is full of wonder and possibility, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to dream small, but act big. Section 2. Beyond the toy chest imagination, ingenuity, and the thrill of the rescue. The miniature mechanics adventures extend far beyond the confines of the toy chest, capturing our imaginations and transporting us to a world where everyday objects are transformed into extraordinary tools, where challenges are met with a mix of ingenuity and a healthy dose of humor, and where the bonds of friendship are forged in the fires of shared adventure. Their story reminds us that the world is our playground, a canvas upon which we can paint our own adventures, limited only by the boundaries of our imagination. It encourages us to embrace our inner child, to never lose sight of the wonder and joy that can be found in the simplest of things. But beyond the playful charm and the whimsical escapism, the miniature mechanics adventures offer a powerful message about the importance of resourcefulness, problem solving, and the satisfaction that comes from a job well done. They teach us that with a little creativity, a dash of ingenuity, and a whole lot of determination, we can overcome even the most daunting of obstacles. They remind us that the greatest rewards often come from tackling challenges head-on, from pushing the boundaries of what we believe is possible, and from never giving up, even when the odds seem stacked against us. Section 3. Stay tuned for more miniature miracles, a call to adventure and beyond. The miniature mechanics adventures have only just begun. Their garage, a beacon of hope in a world of discarded toys, is ready to welcome a new wave of stranded RC adventurers, each with their own tale of daring exploits and near misses. And so, we bid farewell to Sparky, Wrench, and Patches, our hearts filled with gratitude for the adventures they've shared, the lessons they've taught, and the laughter they've inspired. But this isn't goodbye, it's merely a see you soon. For the spirit of adventure, much like a well-maintained RC car, never truly runs out of power. It's a force that lives within us all, waiting for the right moment to be ignited, to propel us towards new horizons, new challenges, and new opportunities to make a difference, no matter how big or small. So, stay tuned for more miniature miracles, more tales of daring rescues, ingenious repairs, and the unbreakable bond of friendship that fuels these tiny heroes' extraordinary adventures. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share the Miniature Mechanics story with your friends. Who knows what incredible feats of engineering and heartwarming tales of camaraderie await us in the next exciting chapter?